Hey, welcome back to another Just 5 Mins. Since it's sort of the new, well, I don't know about New Year's resolutions, but it's still as of, the 22nd of January 2023 today. So I thought it's not so much New Year's resolutions, but a bit of productivity focus time. So what I've got this time is actually nothing to do with coding, or maybe it is. Because it's all to do with time blocking, which I'm just wondering, is this just another fancy word for you're booking some calendar slots? But anyway, it's an app that an old colleague of mine who's doing very well for himself, so I have to think, okay, he obviously knows something, has got a crazy schedule of getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and whatnot, but there was a link from, I think it was either him or someone else, but anyway, it's basically a new app called Motion. Okay, I'll put the links in the show notes below, but one of the big things is time blocking. You know, what is time blocking? Well, it's a calendar entry, isn't it? But I suppose it is, but it's about, you know, doing the things that you really want to do versus, you know, the things that you can put off till later or do in another, at another convenient time, but to focus on the priorities. And let's face it, we could always do with that, couldn't we? And I'm saying this more for myself because, my goodness, I think I need to eat dog food, eat your dog food or something, whatever they call it, you know, where I've got to sort of take my own advice, basically. But this Motion app, the interesting bit, I mean, in and of itself, it looks like, okay, they're using time blocking. Apparently, a lot of the very successful people use this, and I don't doubt that. What are the benefits? I'm just looking down here. You obviously commit to work on the task that you've got at a specific time, and it's all the sort of things like, well, these are the sort of things I'd like to do at some stage. Well, put them out of the way. You know, there's some quotes here. According to Y Combinator founder Paul Graham, this type of deep work is necessary for working through hard problems that require lots of thinking and focus. So it is sort of connected to coding in my sense anyway. Not that I'm even a great coder, but just the fact that I think we all know this fundamentally, that having focus, like focusing on something you're meant to be doing, of course, it's common sense, but I suppose we all slip from time to time. I'm basically saying that for myself again. But anyway, it's an interesting thing, because really it's more than just yet another, I mean, because obviously there's all these great apps out there, aren't there? Things like Asana, Trello. I mean, I use Todoist quite a lot. They're all out there. There's all these wonderful systems to do it, but ultimately it's your motivation and your focus that will make those things work or not. But what Motion does is say, well, look, you've got different things everywhere for personal things, for work, whatever it might be. You've got, like I use Todoist mostly for my own stuff. I've used that for ages, but I do use Microsoft To Do because it's embedded in Outlook for tasks with my work, because that's what my work has got, all obviously Microsoft 365. So it's just not that I'm necessarily a big fan of Microsoft To Do, but it's just that it's embedded, it's built into Teams and everything else. But back to Motion, it allows you to pull all of that in. So you're not really trying to, I've got that app, this for something else. So you can pull it all together, and it lets you, as they say, it lets you basically focus on what you really need to do. And it uses some artificial intelligence, apparently. I haven't tried this yet, to plan your day. So I'm definitely going to have a look at it, but it seems, even from an aggregation perspective of pulling in multiple calendars and, of course, keeping them in sync more to the point, it's okay just pulling in calendars, but if you actually have to update them or something like that, there's nothing worse than then trying to hunt through and find that you need to go back and update things manually. It's not going to work. So this apparently does that. I've must admit I'm going to try it for the next few weeks to see how it goes. But yeah, I think it's got an interesting take. You can pull in all the different things like from Trello, Todoist, wherever it comes from, Asana, all your other sort of systems, and it'll try to give you, by the looks of it, some AI type based planning. Okay, so it's an interesting thing. Like I say, I think it affects all of our lives anyway, whatever you're doing, whether you're coding, whether you're doing anything else. I guess the only thing is that there isn't necessarily a free version of Motion, and maybe that's a good thing, because it means that if you're going to do something like this, you're going to commit to it. But they do have an individual version at $19 US a month, but that's billed annually, so it is quite pricey. Because if you do go for billed monthly, it's $34. That's quite a lot. But I guess if you are getting things like task management, project management, you've got some AI automation there, and you've definitely got things like the synchronization. There's a browser, obviously the browser app, the mobile app, and everything else. But I've gone way over the 5 minutes on this one. I'm not getting paid by these people, by the way. It's just an interesting concept, worth a look if you feel that you want to pay that money and actually commit to that, and if it will actually really help you. It'll be interesting to see what happens with it. So but that's what I've got for this time around, so we'll leave you with it, and we'll catch you on the next one.